Hello everybody, welcome back to my channel. This is the artist Scott and I'm here to teach you how to draw. And I'm using comic books as a way to teach you because you do a lot of drawing in comics. If this is your first time coming to my channel, I would recommend going right down to the first video and from there start watching, because one episode builds on top of the other. This is a breakdown. This is day 6, part 1. What I do is I do an hour show, but I break them up into 15-minute segments. It's easier, digestible that way for you. It also gives you some time to practice in between videos. And in this particular video, we are going to learn to draw the human head, which is something, sorry about that, which is something we haven't done in a while. I mean, we've been talking about for a while, and we just haven't gotten to yet. And we're going to, we're going to start drawing our comic book right now because we've gotten all of the lessons that we needed, I think. Now, if you remember, in the previous ones, I had talked about shapes, and we're going to use shapes again today. We're going to twist and pull them and move them. So since this was the first lesson, it's really valuable that you learn this thing, that you learned from the very beginning. For those of you that are already experienced and experts, forgive me. I would say just bear with me, because I think I have something to bring to the table, and you might pick something up. All right. Anyway, we're going to start with the head, and there are certain ways that people do things. I'm going to show you some of the ways that I've seen, and then the way I do it. Okay. So what I've seen is people would basically, and for those of you that are new to the channel, forgive me, I'm drawing looking at the camera, which is probably not the way to do it. But you're basically doing one square, and then you're breaking them up into 4 even squares, okay? And this is to basically construct the head. Then what you do is you do that little circle, which you switch into an oval, and you do that, and you bring it around and do that. All right, that's basically the front of the face. Okay, what we end up doing is we end up erasing these lines. I'm not going to erase them too much because I still want you to see them after I'm done, but I'm going to erase them enough so that they're not as distracting as they used to be. And that's like this is the front of the face. And then I've seen some people do this. And also they do the square through here. And then they do this. And then they come up this way. And they come around. See this line. Then they come around this way and they connect it here. And then this is the side of the face, okay? And again, I'm only lightly erasing it so that you could still see the lines that I was talking about, but it's not as dark as it was, okay? And then from this point on, they start building in the face. And this is just to get the basic shape. Now, it's not really what I do, okay? I basically just draw an egg shape. And an egg shape is just essentially a circle turned into an oval. And then one side of the oval is bigger than the other. So, for example, you have a circle. And again, I'm doing this through the camera, so I apologize. You have a circle, and then you turn it into an oval, right? And then you just make one side of the oval bigger than the other, like this. Okay? And for the side of the face, then to get these lines here, you just draw it down the center, and then draw it down the center again. And then to get the side of the face, I simply do an oval again, except I just tilt it so that the large part is towards the rear rather than towards the front. And then I do the same thing here. I right through the center. You could do it through the center too here because it'll help you as we get further along. Now I'm going to go through like very basic constructions of the face, and I'm going to explain something here that it might be hard to understand at first, but once you do it a couple of times, you'll understand it. What we're doing is we're drawing the eyes, and your face is essentially 5 eyes wide with 1 eye in the middle. So what you have is 1, 2, 3, and of course I did that a little too far over. 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. It's so difficult doing this through the camera. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So it's basically 5 eyes wide. So then you take this side here and this side here, and you draw more like an almond shape than a oval shape, but similar enough, and then a little circle. You do the same thing on this side. Okay. So then you have a basic eye. Now I'm not going to put the 5 lines in here. I'm just going to kind of guess it out as I'm doing this. And again, I apologize. I'm drawing through the camera, so it's not as easy. It's never as easy as I thought it would be. But anyway, here you just, you do the basic almond shape, and then you have the eyes. Now, for the side view, it's a little bit different. You kind of have to go back a little bit. And I really have no way of measuring it. I just tell you that I keep practicing. It's a little bit, just a little bit back. It's how I explain it. There's no other way for me to explain it. And then for the side view, it's the same thing. Just come a little bit back. And there. Okay. I apologize. There may be some background noise that you're hearing. I've got the air conditioning going, and there's a TV going. So you may be hearing some noise, and I apologize for that. I should have turned them off before I started. Anyway, this is setting up the eyes. Now, when it comes to the nose is it's about halfway down again. Okay, so you split this down here and move this over here, which is where the base of the skull is. And again, I want to stress that don't sit there trying to name everything. Okay. You don't really want to name everything. You want to go for shapes. Okay. I apologize. This line that we drew, which was halfway between here and there, is not the nose line. It's the mouth line. And I'm going to get into a little more detail into what goes into the mouth. I'm just giving you basics at this point. That'll be soon, this lesson, but real soon. Anyway, that's where you put the mouth in, is when you cut this square in half. And you could do the same thing here. I mean, I didn't make it a square, but you could do the same thing about halfway between the two, and then you just put the mouth in. Okay. Again, I'm going to get into more detail with this in a little bit, but I'm going to show you some shortcuts, and you should be fine. And then here, you're talking about right about here, and it looks weird. It looks weird because I'm drawing through the camera, number one. And I also have this board at an angle, right? And I did that so that when I look at the page, I'm looking directly at the page. But I don't have the camera at an angle. So it should be warping for you a little bit, but you just kind of have to understand. See the difference between the two? You just have to understand that I'm going halfway through. Also, because the bottom portion of this oval is smaller, it looks weird, but it's pretty accurate, okay? And then you just put the lip in there. All right, so that's what we've got so far, right? Now let's put in our nose. The nose should be approximately the width of the eyes. There'll be like a little triangle like this. And that's basically your nose. It's just essentially a triangle. So you do that and you do that. Okay. And same thing here. And we're going to fill it in a second. I'm just giving you this is why I say shapes are important. If you see the nose as a triangle and you can move the triangle into different shapes, you can pretty much draw any nose that's out there. Noses are also very interesting on people. So if you get really good with noses, you can do a lot of very interesting faces, very interesting things with faces. Anyway, what you do at this point is, of course, you're not going to keep these sidelines. This is just, to show you. And then you have nostrils, and then you have the side of the nose that comes up. And then it depends on what you're doing. I'm going to just shade this right here real quick, just to give you an idea. And then this one, I'm just going to put in a nostril here, and then put the side of the nose there. And the same thing here. I'm just going to put in a nostril. And again, try not to say things like what I'm saying, nostril. I'm saying drawing through the camera is difficult, but also I'm saying nostril. And I'm in my head, I'm saying that doesn't look like a nostril. Anyway, that's the basics on how you do that, all right? Then you have to just kind of erase your lines that are guiding you. And now you have an almost completed face. I'll leave the shading on this nose. And there you go. Okay. So that's what, basically what it looks like. Now, of course, there's more to it than that. What you're going to eventually learn how to do is you're going to eventually learn how to twist and move the face around. Change shapes on it, all that kind of stuff. And for women, it's basically the same thing. You just have to soften up the features a little bit, but it depends. Like I said, you're learning to see when you're drawing, so it really depends on your subject matter. But the basic dimensions and how you start and stop are basically like that. Okay. Let me get to drawing things like the eyes, nose, and the mouth, things like that. All right. Let's get more into detail. All right. When we're talking about eyes, right? You kind of want to do. I said walnut earlier. I really meant almond shaped. So, you may want to grab some almonds and practice how to draw them. Of course, everyone's eye is different, but that's essentially the shape, right? You can do something like that, because if you look in the mirror, you'll see that your eye does have that little loop in there. And I apologize, I'm no biology expert, so I forgot all the names of all of these when I studied them. And then you want to draw the eye itself, which is essentially another circle inside the almond. And you want to work on it a little bit more, right? There is, again, I'm forgetting all the names. I apologize. But basically, you don't want to really focus on the names. You want to focus on the shape, okay? So I'm just going to kind of shade this in a bit, right? And I want to give it a little light. It's reflecting in the eye. And then many eyes have little speckles in them. And you have essentially an eye. Now, the outer portion of the eye, I would say you can do something like this, but you don't want to do too much of it. Some people have really dark here. Some people are pretty light. I would say keep it as simple as possible when you're first starting out. When you're doing something like eyelashes, you don't want to get too thick with them. And I've already gone and turned this into a woman's eye. Not necessarily. Guys' eyes are like this too. But I've gone and made them a little bit thicker than normal for a man. Okay. Sorry about that. Hold on. I apologize. Anyway, we're coming very close to ending. This is part 1 of day 6. Tune into part 2 of day 6, or part 6, day 6 part 2, however way you want to do it. If you like this video, please like, please subscribe, please share, please comment. And below, I will be posting a link to my Patreon account if you want to head over there and support me for anything. But in the meantime, go ahead and practice what I've already taught you, and then come back again and we'll do the next one. Thank you.